Alright, this is video number 2 in Unit 5A, and this is a continuation of the data unit talking about measures of central tendency, mean, median, and mode. So you can just pick up where we left off in your packet. Looking at example number 2, the growing season is defined as the average number of days between the last frost in the spring and the first frost in the fall. The table below shows the average growing season for 9 major cities. If the circled number 156 is changed to 256, how would the mean, median, and mode of this data change? Now, we don't really have to actually calculate the mean, median, and mode of this data twice. We can look at the table, and first of all, if you look at the information inside of the box, 156 occurs twice. So in the original data, 156 was the mode because it's the number that occurs most often. You can see that there are two 156s in the data. But it tells us we're going to take out one of the 156s and it's being changed to 256. So now no longer is 156 the mode. There is no mode. There's no number that occurs more often. Each number in the box occurs only one time. So if I look at my answers, A says it would increase the mean, median, and mode. Well, it's not going to increase the mode. We know that, so that problem is eliminated. Decrease the mean, median, and mode. It's not going to do that either. Increase the mean, median, and eliminate the mode. Well, that's what we talked about. Now, before we had two 156s, and now we don't, so we eliminated the mode, so this has to be the answer. So when you are doing multiple choice questions, you want to look for ways to eliminate answers. In problem number 3, the student government wants to determine if students get better grades in the morning or afternoon classes. They randomly surveyed 20 students that take math tests in the morning and 20 students that take math class in the afternoon. The survey results are shown in the stem and leaf plots below. So we have classes. It might be an algebra class, one that was occurring in the morning and one was occurring in the afternoon, and they're curious, is it better to have math in the morning or is it better to have math in the afternoon? Now, another thing you'll notice is they tell us the key. They're telling us how to read the stem and leaf graph. In other words, 5/4 right here represents a grade of 54%. Now, just by simple inspection of the data, you can see that the morning classes only had one person who did not pass the test, and for the morning classes, all of the grades were above 70%, whereas in the afternoon, you had several more grades that were below 70%. So just by inspection, it appears that the morning students are doing better than the afternoon students, at least for and we don't know if this represents one test or if it represents their averages. Alright, so to find the mean, median, mode for each class, I've already entered the data into my calculator. And you'll notice that this time, since I have two sets of data, I entered the morning classes in list number 1 and the afternoon classes in list number 2, and you may want to pause the video and enter the data into your calculator. Now be very careful in entering the data because one wrong number could make a difference in your answers, and I'm hoping that I've entered the data correctly. I think I've checked it, but we'll see what happens. So the question is, what are the mean, median, mode for each class? Now we're going to have to calculate each of these separately, so I'm going to start with list number 1. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort my data in list number 1. In fact, I'll probably go ahead and sort the data in both lists. So now I've sorted the data in list number 1. And then secondly, I'm going to sort the data in list number 2. Okay, now when I go back and look at the data in the calculator, the data will be in order from least to greatest, and I'll get the mode in a few minutes. Now I'm going to find the mean and the median using my calculator, so I'm going to calc one variable statistics, and I want to find that information for the morning classes, which are and the data is in list number 1. So I press enter, and this is the mean, median, and mode, or it will give me the mean and the median for the morning class. So the morning class had a mean of 85. Remember X bar, the first thing that you see in the calculator data. Then I want to look for MED for median. Their median was 82. And remember, to get the mode, we have to go back to the data. And we're looking for the number in list number 1 that occurs most often. I see 376s. And it looks like to me that the number that occurred most often was 76, because I saw 3 of them. And there they are, right there, 376s. And when you have the information in a stem and leaf, it may be just as easy or quicker to find the mode looking at the data. All right, now let's go back and get the information for the afternoon classes. So I'm going to go back to Stat. I'm going to hit Calc, and I'm going to do one variable statistics, and I'm going to do that for list number 2, because now I want the mean and median for list number 2. The mean for the afternoon class was 75, and we'll just round that off to a whole number, 75. The median, we're going to have to arrow down for MED, which is 77.5, so I'll round that off to be 78. And then the mode, again, you can look at your stem and leaf, or you can go back to the data in the calculator. 62 is appearing twice. 66 is appearing twice. '79 is appearing 3 times. Looks like 79, and again we can confirm that in the stem and leaf. We see that 79 occurs 3 times, and that is the mode. That is the value that's used most often. All right, let's see what the questions are. Based on the data, do students get better grades in the morning classes? Use measures of central tendency to justify your answer. Well, when we compare the data, we can see that the morning classes has a higher mean. The morning class has a higher median, but they have a lower mode. And the mode is really, it's just the grade that was scored the most often. And so that's not really a really good way to compare the data. Pretty much the best way to compare the data in this case is we see in 2 measures of central tendency that the mean and the median are greater in the morning classes than they are in the afternoon. So I would say that students get better grades in the morning because the mean and median are greater. Okay, and then example number 4, I'm not going to work that example for you because it's pretty much the same problem. Again, for your own practice, you would put the data, we're comparing presidents. We'll put the first data in list number 1 and the second data in list number 2, and do the problem exactly like I just did the last one. And then answer your questions based on what you write up. So again, you want to use the calculator to get that information, and then once you get the information, you can make your comparisons. All right, this is the second video in the Unit 5A statistics and data. Go on to video number 3, because in video number 3 we're going to talk about the mean, median, and mode with grouped data, and then there'll be another video where we'll talk about box and whisker plots.